In this video, we will go through how to get started with a new site. First, we will open a map window. You do this using the map icon in the top left. It opens the layers dialog, and we will choose topographic base map and click apply. Next, we want to go to the area where our site is located. We can do this using the gazetteer icon and type in an area like Reading and be taken straight there. If this is your first time in the area on Groundhog, it may take a moment or two for the tiles to cache. Our next item is to make a site boundary. We can add a site boundary layer using the Add Layers button and create a new layer. We have the options to create a point, borehole, shape or annotation layer, and we will create a shape layer and give it a name like site boundary. We'll then zoom in to the location of our site. And to draw, we need to activate the site boundary layer. This brings up a drawing palette, and we will choose the polygon tool. Draw on our site boundary. And then put the tool back in the palette. In the first instance, it appears as a thin black line. We can tag it as a site boundary to give it a thick red line. To do this, we again activate the site boundary layer and then activate the shape by clicking it. The nodes will turn from yellow to green. If we right click, we can see the tag shape option. At the moment, there are two tagging options, site boundary and water level. We want site boundary. And our site boundary has now been styled with a thicker red line. By default, each layer comes in with 50% opacity, and we can change that. We might want to make it closer to 100% for our site boundary. One last thing to point out is the zoom to layer icon. That's this button up here. This is one of the reasons that the very first thing I do when I go to a new site is put on a site boundary, because then I can easily get back to that location. So if I was to do zoom to layer at the minute, because the topographic base map is activated, I will go to a map of the UK. But if I want to go back to my site boundary, I activate the site boundary and I zoom to that layer. And here we are at our site. If you think that the boundary is not quite right with the layer active, you can activate the shape, again toning our nodes green, and shift the boundary till it reflects reality. If you realize you need an extra node, you can double click and one will appear, enabling you to optimize your shape. To save the project, we click the save icon and choose a location. I always have a directory called Groundhog Projects and give it a name. Reading Demo 1 and save. So that is getting started with a site.